Still in Germany, President Bola Tinubu is assuring international investors that beyond Nigeria's natural resources, the people of Nigeria who are highly educated, highly skilled and naturally industrious are the primary asset and advantage the country wields over other nations in the global race for new investments. The president spoke at a panel discussion titled Fostering Global Local Value Chains and Investments in Africa, the Role of the German Private Sector at the G20 Compact with Africa Economic Conference hosted by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. The president noted that while promoting the rule of law is crucial for attracting foreign investments, Nigeria's energetic youth population and well-educated populace represents the greatest incentive provided to investors. While persuading German automobile firms to establish manufacturing plants in Nigeria, he invited German businesses to take advantage of investment opportunities in multiple sectors following the successful visit of the German Chancellor to Nigeria in October. For more on this development, let's speak with a senior economist, Paul Alaji, who joins us live via Zoom from Abuja. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 7. How exactly do you react to that announcement now of a €4 billion investment in Africa? This time, it's not development aid, but investment.
Well, I think it's the right way to go beyond development aid where accountability may be of concern. If Germany comes to invest directly in Africa, and especially here in Nigeria, they will put their skin in the game beyond just investing directly with public sector. If you suggest investment, it means there will be high involvement of private sector in this. And I think it's the way to go. The question should now be, what are we going to do as a nation to get a larger proportion of the €4 billion into our economy? And how do we attract that into Nigeria? Recall that the Chancellor of Germany had visited Nigeria, a reason that may not be too far, for finding or scanning the environment within the country if it's attractable to investment. And I can tell you, the president, I think, he continued to say the right thing when it goes to global, in different global platforms. For instance, he had hinted or mentioned that having investment directly, for instance, automobile in Nigeria, it will really be something that can take Nigeria to a new level of investment and a new reality. The president could also promise that if Germany comes to start with assemble all major government officials, at least 40 to 50% of all government officials, we be purchased from them, which gives comfort and guarantee. What this would mean is that all our population that is working in such sector will be guarantee of job. And
Indeed.
it will also mean revenue for the companies and so on and so forth. So I think it's the way to go. The president must continue to push for this investment into Nigeria, to reduce poverty in Nigeria, to reduce pressure on Naira, and more importantly, to create jobs for our teeming population, especially the young people.
Very critical. Earlier, you asked about what Nigeria should be doing at this time to ensure that it gets a larger proportion of that fund that has been earmarked for investment in Africa. And the federal government has said that we have a population that is energetic and industrious, up to the task, and it's an advantage that the country wields over other countries of the world that are in need of investment. Do you see us able to actually harness this potential?
Well, we must present our country really well. There are ingredients for investment. One of the ingredients is labor. Another ingredient is capital. But when it comes to investment that requires a large amount of money, and it's not just in ICT, then you know that it's important for us to talk about electricity, road infrastructure, and of course, internet. So this cut across. So what I think we should do, because of the peculiar situation we find ourselves, and limited resources, limited scarce resources we have, I have advocated time and again, yes, regular power supply cannot be overemphasized, and is so needed, so useful for us as a country. But can we, instead of solving our problem together, can we divide them into sectors, into geopolitical zone, into states, into regions, and say we want to solve this region's electricity problem? And as Nigeria, we must think beyond our ethnic connection and say that we want this particular state or this particular space to have 5,000 megawatts in the next 1 to 2 years, such that we can call it an investment state or investment city. So all those we are inviting to come, they will start from a place like that. Then there's what we call agglomerative economies, where development will spread, investment will spread from such area to another area. And we can identify 1, we can identify 6, we can identify 10 of these locations in Nigeria. We have seen private sector and some state government trying to work around things. But I think when President Tinubu comes back, he needs to call key states that already have competitive advantage in these investments, in this investment zone. I agree with them, then we can take the country to a higher level. So truly, education is there, and most importantly, energetic youth population that is also to some extent educated. But beyond book education, it's also good to have industrial education. Then we can take our country to the place that we truly want it to
industrial
be.
Education.
We need our responsibility.
Yes, Mr. Alaji, industrial education is what you called it. You would notice that Nigerians are highly educated. It's also something the federal government has referred to. But more often than not, to find out that after gaining the education right here, within a short while, they're out of the country using that skill and talent to develop other economies. How do we sustain and retain those talents here in the country?
In fact, people have called it brain circulation, and it's not correct. It is brain drain, because when you look at what they repatriate back to the economy, does it worth the kind of education they got in this economy? If it's at par, then you can say it's brain circulation. But what we have in Nigeria today is brain drain. People go to medical school in Nigeria almost free for nothing when you compare to what they would have paid in MIT or Harvard, where they would have paid hundreds of tens of millions of naira. It's not the same thing. So it is not their fault that they are leaving. The environment for them to stay has not been prepared. Today you hear NMA going on strike. Tomorrow it is ASU going on strike. How do we run this economy such that we will not eat our cake and still say we want to have it? Therefore, investment in critical sector, which includes the things I've mentioned earlier, and the things I suggest that authorities do, such that all the people have been taught locally, within our education system. We can now have positive impact in terms of investment, and our human development index, we also significantly grow beyond where we are today.
Paul Alaji is a senior economist. Thank you very much for talking to us on TVC News at 7.
Thank you so much for having me.